Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on the radio dial in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM. We welcome you all back to our show, as well as tuning in through our online affiliates around the world. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. Actor and producer Monte Bezell is with us today to talk to us not only about his love of being able to act, but also to be able to be a part of the behind-the-scenes work as well. We'll talk to him about when he first realized what he wanted to do, but also what it's been like for him to be an example for others as to what they can achieve when it comes to their own goals and dreams. Monte, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, man, the pleasure is definitely all mine. I want to start off by kind of talking about the year that has been 2017 for you, Monte. I mean, what has it been like for you to reflect on these months and to look at the things you've been able to achieve?
Oh, man. The year's been so busy. It's been so good to me, and it's just flying by. I'm sure everybody else feels the same way. I've been busy with shooting. I've been busy with traveling, getting production stuff ready for next year. I've got 2 films coming out next year, so I've been running around promoting them. It's been a great year. It's probably my busiest and the best year I've had so far.
Wow, that is awesome, man. So, I think what a lot of people, the reason I wanted to really talk to you, Monte, is because I think a lot of times people see the finished product, and they see, as I mentioned to you earlier, they see the red carpets, and they see you, in the pictures, but they don't realize the work that it takes to get there. Do you think that really the reason you've been able to have such a good year is because of the groundwork you've been able to lay when it comes to the years previous to this?
Absolutely. It's all about, like you said, laying down that foundation, putting everything together, putting in the hours prior, putting together a good team, putting together, other good actors, other production people, whether it's finance people, people on the ground, people who do PR. It's surrounding yourself with, it's not a secret. I basically surround myself with a lot of smarter people than me.
Hey, look, I know that feeling for sure. So take us back a little bit, Monte. When did you first know that entertaining was something you wanted to do? Because we're going to talk more about the behind the camera stuff that you're also interested in. But when did you first realize that being an entertainer was something you wanted to do?
Well, it's funny that you asked because I was always around it. I was always around theater actors. Young ladies I've dated were singers. And being in New York, such a huge melting pot, you're surrounded by so many different artists. And once I started, just going to these events, hanging out with them, and then being exposed to it, being in New York, I knew the moment when I went by City Hall in Brooklyn, and there was a huge set, and I just saw all these people working in symmetry, and they were like a machine, and everybody was, just from A to Z, everybody was just working, putting things together, and it looked so cool. And I knew right then and there, you know what? I want to be a part of that. I would love to do something like that.
Yeah. And not only are you able to do that now, Monte, but you're an example, as I mentioned earlier, to others as well. Now, I'm noticing that you're able to stay connected with your followers, your fans, as we call them here. A lot of people call them their extended family. It seems like they've become. Have you gotten used to that idea now that as you have been able to line up the credits, go throughout this career, that you have people who are cheering for you along the way?
Absolutely, man. I mean, people are so supportive. People are so great. Like you said, I basically see them as an extended family. I've gotten so much support, so much love. I mean, it's been amazing. I'm enjoying and I'm loving the ride, and I'm enjoying the fact that people, we're actually, doing this. I feel like we're doing it together. If that makes, that's how I honestly feel.
For sure. And I think it goes back to what you mentioned earlier, Monte, about not being in this island by yourself, having that support, and how that also is one of the big things. So let's talk about motivation, because as you said, you were around it. There are a lot of people, quite frankly, that are, they're around talent, they see things, but they're not willing to do the work. Have you always been a person, Monte, who realized that you couldn't just say, I want to be a part of something, but that you had to do the work necessary to turn that into reality?
Absolutely. I mean, that comes from within. I think everyone has it. It's a matter of, do you want to go out and do it? Like you said, when you see something on the screen, it looks great. You got that hour and a half, you got that hour, but the time, the energy, and the hard work that's needed. You're doing 16, maybe 18-hour days. It's all from within. I definitely got it from my parents. I'm the youngest of 4 brothers. They've always installed in me hard work. And I'll be honest with you, I've been very fortunate. The people I've worked with, just as hardworking as me, just as determined, just as that work ethic. It's everything. I mean, there's no way to say there's nothing better than having that drive to go ahead and knock it out and do what you do. Don't be scared.
Right.
Sometimes art is not for everybody, but if you go out and do it, just go out there and knock it out. As long as you're doing 100%, you'll be fine.
For sure. I think that is so true. For those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. Monte Bezell is our guest for the segment. We're talking with Monte not only about his love of entertaining, but also how he's been able to do that in front of the camera as an actor, but he's also a producer and filmmaker as well. So I want to talk about that aspect because, again, over the past decade, just to imagine that you have a decade worth of work already, Monte, that you've been able to be a part of. What about the act of creating yourself? Telling stories, is it also something you always knew you wanted to do, not only bring someone else's words to life, but to be able to create your own words and stories?
Yeah, there's nothing better than telling a story. And I've always felt like, whether you read a book, a comic book, a TV show, a film, I've always been interested in story and creating a world. And it is something that, there's something so cool about doing that, and being a part of it is even better. You have to be very honest with yourself when you're acting and, immerse yourself in that story. You're basically, a huge part of that as an actor. As a filmmaker, it's more of putting the pieces together and making sure the story works. So it's I don't know if I answered your question correctly.
Yeah, you did. And you know what? And I should say for those who don't know, this year the two worlds kind of came together for you, right? On one of the TV series that you worked on, where you're producing, but you also are acting as well. What was that experience like?
Oh, it was great. It was I initially came on as an actor, and then they asked me, hey, we would love to have you on set. We would love for you to help out with, behind the scenes. They know I've done it before, and it was an honor for me to come in and actually, come in, help the writers, the directors, get the locations. It was an amazing process. It's actually, it's a very humbling when somebody asks you to come on. First as an actor and then as a producer. It was really, really cool. I can't say thank you enough to, for them allowing me to come, and do both wearing both hats was really cool.
Well, at this point, as you think about the act of creating, Monte, and then knowing that you've been on some of the biggest shows on television, do you still have those moments that make you go, wow?
Oh man, every day. Every day, man. I'm like, wow, I'm having so much fun. I'm loving what I do. I find myself very, very fortunate. If you find something that you love and you can actually do it, absolutely. It is hard work, but it's so worth it.
Yeah.
So worth it.
Yeah. Is that message of hard work, and it's something that I always try to remind people of, that, that when you're gifted, you can make it look so easy, but I think there are so many people who think they can just jump into things and just, and get exactly where the person that they are watching is. Is that part of the advice that you give to those that are aspiring, especially to be in the business? The importance of being willing to do the work and also to be patient along the way and to realize it's not all going to happen overnight.
Absolutely. The best advice I've ever gotten from some really cool actors who I look up to, they've always told me, hey man, put in the work hard, bust your butt, and then the results will come. Things will, they will just fall in front of you. And you create that body of work, and that allows you to get more work. So I'm a huge believer in that. Absolutely.
Right. Well, that leads us to kind of how I began this conversation with you, Monte, and that is talking about the year that has been 2017. Part of that has been not only you're working hard, but also enjoying the fruits of that work and attending events, being on red carpets. What has that part of the experience been like for you, to be able to see it all kind of come together and also to see the recognition for the work that you put in?
It's great. It's I guess the best thing I can say is sharing the experience with your peers. It's such a great thing when you see, wow, we did that. We put this together. And the fact that you can share it with your friends, your family, your extended family, nothing better than that. It is new to me still. I still get a little awkward. I still get a little nervous. But, there's nothing better than actually showing your work and sharing your art with your friends and extended family. Absolutely a great feeling.
Yeah. Well, part of the way that we're able to stay connected with you, part of the ways that I was able to prep for this segment with you, actually, is through social media. I mean, how do you navigate those waters? I mentioned earlier about the fans. You mentioned the extended family. I mean, what has it been like for you to start opening up on social media and allowing the world into your world that way?
Still new to me. I'm figuring it out. I'm not the greatest at it. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying all the messages, all the support. Again, I'm learning as I go, but it's such a great platform to have. You can actually deal with people directly, whether it's getting advice, giving advice, helping somebody out, somebody helping you out. I think it's awesome. It's been a great experience. Again, I'm still learning the social media aspect of it, but I'm loving it as I go.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say, and it seems as though Instagram has been one of those ways, Monte, that you have enjoyed the most to be able to share. One of the memes that you shared, actually, now, it's been almost over a year ago, it caught my attention that I wanted to mention because I think it goes to, again, why you've been able to reach where you are. You posted it on August the 2nd, 2016 on Instagram, and for those who aren't following Monte, both on Twitter as well as on Instagram, it's just his name. We'll remind you that at the end of the segment. But the meme said this, Monte: kindness makes you the most beautiful person in the world, no matter what you look like. Do you think that also has been part of why you've been able to be consistent, being able to treat people the way you want to be treated, but also showing the respect that's necessary to everyone that you meet?
Absolutely. That I've got to give to my parents. They've installed that in me. I live by that. That's a mantra of mine. Anything and everything I can do to help somebody, treat them right. And, you just want to treat others as you want to be treated, just like you said. And I'm a firm believer in that. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have to ask you about something I've been, if there is a scripted question that I've asked people recently, because I'm genuinely curious, because, I think for a lot of us who try to enjoy where we are, Monte, I think part of the challenge is the world is changing so quickly. I mean, we'll blink and 2018 will be here. How have you managed to be able to enjoy where you are, enjoy the successes, enjoy what you've done in 2017, and yet still look ahead to what's next?
Well, it's funny you say that. My whole thing is, if you put in, just I'm so busy working that when it's time to play, you just like, wow.
Yeah.
I've gotten so many things done this year. I got so many things coming up next year. I take the joy in working with my peers. So for me, to be honest with you, it's enjoying in doing the work. It's what I love to do. So I'm staying busy and enjoying what I'm doing all at the same time. It's for me, it's almost like I'm cheating, man, because I love what I do.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the big things, man. I mean, that is one of the things. I mean, when you're actually able to love it, I mean, I tell people all the time, I work a lot, but I enjoy it, so it doesn't really feel like work, even though it definitely is work. It doesn't feel like it because you're enjoying it so much. So we're excited about what's coming up next for you, Monte. Again, everyone, Monte Bezell has been our guest. You all can stay connected with him on Instagram as well as Twitter. Just look up his name, Monte Bezell. And again, as I mentioned, we'll be tagging him on social media as well with the link to this conversation. Monte, congratulations to you, man, on the success you've been able to have. And you also have a website as well, right?
Yes, I do. It's out montebezell.net. And, thank you so much for having me. It's awesome talking to you.
Hey, man, the pleasure's definitely on mine. And looking forward to having you back on next year to catch us up on what's coming up for you then, okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. And we thank our good friend Zach Tepperman for setting up this conversation with us, and we thank you for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late, you missed part of the conversation with Monte, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media site, so head over to facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go over to twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. As I mentioned, we'll be tagging Monte there, so you all can click on that link, listen to the show completely for free, and share with your friends from there, too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music. Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.